Mr. Daniels. So, excellent fight, by the way. Is there anything that surprised you that maybe you weren't expecting that you saw out there?
I mean, I figured he was going to have some hard. One of the big adjustments for me is actually how much shorter he was. So when I was throwing a lot of my stuff, he was dropping way below my knees. And he kept even a couple times when I blitzed. You saw his head kind of like below my knees. So that was a different adjustment of having to have to punch down a lot lower in order to make contact with my target. So that was something that really threw my timing off from the first opening of the fight.
When you went into the pit and you were in the corner, when you crouched down, what were you thinking?
I'm sorry, say that again.
When you were crouching before you went into the pit.
Oh, when
were you saying a prayer?
Oh yeah. But every time before I go in to fight, I make sure I pray to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And, I pray for my protection, my opponent's protection. Even though we are out there fighting, and it looks like we don't like each other or trying to hurt each other. That's not really necessarily always the case. He has a skill set, I have a skill set. We're trying to test those skill sets against each other.
Right, I know this is not the situation you thought you would be in this part of the night, but you've never shied away, victory or loss. What do you take from this for the next trip into the pit?
I just have to make some adjustments on the home front, on the training set and stuff, as my coach Tyler was telling me. Because of my last fight with my neck injury, I didn't really spar this whole camp, so I felt like my timing was really off. So I had to do so much recovery on my neck that I wasn't able to actually get in and spar. I think I sparred one time for this entire training camp, and I could feel my timing was off a little bit. Not to make any excuses by any means. I'm a black belt in martial arts, I'm a grown man. I'm a black belt, so I got to make some adjustments, making sure that I'm actually getting some sparring partners and make sure I'm getting some rounds in. And in the future, if I do fight somebody or when I fight him again, because I would love to fight him again, making sure I bring out some shorter people to actually punch at, because it makes a difference to punch that low towards the ground. And as you can see towards the end, in the latter part of like the fourth and the fifth round, I started making the adjustments, but a little too late, So just making sure I'm making the necessary preparations for any fight that I come into, and not just base it on my strength, my conditioning, cardio, and make sure I am working my time.
How often would you say your neck aggravates you in this past camp? Was it frequent or?
Yeah, pretty much had therapy on it pretty much the entire camp, just to recover. That's why I didn't do a lot of sparring for the camp. It was strong enough to obviously come out and fight and stuff like that, but again, not any excuse for the reason why my performance looked like that tonight. But that being said, I know I did not spar enough for this camp. And that being said, that's my own fault and my own decision making of not doing that. But because of that, it was something that was just was there, something that was lingering, in the back of my mind. But I was definitely strong enough in order to be able to come out and perform tonight, to be able to be victorious, and to also be able to lose. So that's not any reason that happened. Again, the reason is I just didn't make the adjustments like I needed to.
Do you think it's something that might require surgery down the line, or is it?
No, it's just I've had the x-rays and everything like that. I've been cleared. It's more of like just a sprain and more of a discomfort, and it's healing, but it's just one of those things that just takes a while to feel natural. That's it.
Do you know how much time you'd like to take off before we see you again?
Just go back home, hug on my lovely daughter and my wife, and talk to my camp. But I got hit a few times while I was off balance and stuff like that, but I'm ready to get back as soon as possible. I didn't take any severe damage or anything by any means. I don't feel like I have any slurred speech, like I have any concussions or anything like that. So just more disappointed with my performance, and I know that I'm capable of making those adjustments. I think it was just, again, a timing thing, that I did have my timing from camp, and then I didn't make the necessary adjustments. And honestly, I thought he was a little bit taller than that. height-wise. So to make the adjustment from him ducking down to my knees was a little bit difficult.
Kind of sounds like you're already thinking about a rematch.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there was nothing that he did during the match that I wasn't expecting or that I'm not able to make an adjustment to. For me, it's more of my training, my lack thereof training, that I feel that made the biggest difference in the fight. There's nothing that he was doing. I would see when he came in, I could see when he was doing the things he was doing. Just my timing was off in order to make the adjustments. Like I said, that's why when I started doing some of my counters towards the end, I started kind of finding a little bit of my rhythm, a little bit to catch him with the knees, to catch him with the check hooks and stuff like that. So it's just making those adjustments.
You were touching him up at the end of the fight, just before the bell. It looked like he was pretty hurt. Did you sense that? Did you feel like maybe you could produce a finish if you pushed it?
Yeah, when I call him with the knee, and I call him with a nice check hook, and I saw him staggered at the end of the fight, and I just happened to run out of time in that moment. And I kind of felt that I was down during the fight because, I mean, he did a lot of, as far as takedowns or holding the leg and rushing forward and things of that nature. So, yeah, I felt like towards the end of the fight that I had him, and I was like, okay, I was obviously starting to make the adjustments that I needed, which I should have been able to make from the first instant of the fight in the first round. So just a little too late.
Do you think you felt any residual effects of the weight cut at all? You know, that was a little bit lower than what you're used to competing at. You competed at middleweight the last time. Was there any sort of grogginess or anything that you felt from that?
No, not at all. I normally compete at 170. The only reason I competed at middleweight last time is honestly I've just had a whole lot of changes in the last 8 months, from moving from one state to another state, pregnant wife, new daughter, sold my home, sold my business, opening up a new business, you know, having my little one, buying a new home, adjusting into a new, trying to adjust my garage into my training camp now. So really it was just more of adjustments. Thus I fought in the heavyweight class last time. This time I felt great, I felt fine. I don't think my weight cut was too hard. My coach, Sam Calavita at Training Lab, is amazing. You know, with what he does, he's a mad scientist, as we like to call him, because he just does the numbers, and when he does those numbers, he gets you to where you need to be safely.
All right, thank you very much, Raymond.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Ray.